Hi, today we're going to talk about Bill Gates. His name is William Henry Gates III. He was born on October 28, 1955 and is still alive today at age 64. His birthplace is in Seattle, Washington, the USA. Currently, he is living in Medina in the same state. He is a businessman, an entrepreneur, investor, founder and CEO of Microsoft, co-president at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, CEO at Cascade Investment, which is the Bill and Melinda Gates Investment, and also a writer. At the moment, his net worth is more than $107.1 billion US. His father is William Henry Gates II, a well-known lawyer. His mother, Mary Maxwell Gates, is a businesswoman. He also has two sisters. The older one is Christiana, and the younger one is Libby. His wife is Melinda Gates, and together they had three children named Phoebe Adele Gates, Jennifer Catherine Gates, and Ronnie John Gates. When he was a kid, he wanted to become a lawyer, just like his dad. At age 13, he entered Lakeside School. Once, the Mothers Club used the money they found by selling second-hand items to buy an electromechanical typewriter, Model 33 ASR, and a computer for the students. At that moment, he began to develop an interest in programming. His first written program is the manipulations of tic-tac-toe, learning human versus computers. After the club ran out of money, he and three other friends started to use other systems. Once, they got banned from PDP-10 of Computer Center Corporation because they found out the errors in the operating system to get more time to use. After the banning was over, they offered to help find the errors in the system in exchange that they could use the computers. The contract ended in 1970 when the company went bankrupt. A year later, Information Sciences Incorporation hired the four of them to write a program, letting them have the time to use computers and a software license. Fun fact, when the school knew he had this amazing ability, they asked him to organize the class schedules. Surprisingly, he arranged himself into classes that had the most girls. At age 17, he had a business plan with one of his friends, Alan, creating travel data in order to count the number of vehicles based on Intel 8008 CPU. Gates graduated from Lakeside School in 1973. He got 1,590 over 1,600 points on his SAT. That's a footing for Harvard. Also in that fall, he registered at Harvard University. During his second year there, he solved the hardest questions of the world and set a record. Bill Gates also did not have any specific plans at Harvard and spent most of his time using computers. Then, he decided to drop out of university. After he and Paul Allen witnessed the birth of NIT's Altair 8800 on Intel 8080 microprocessor, they realized it is the chance to start off a company about software. His parents were supportive. Let's talk about his career. At Microsoft, Gates met Alan, who was 2 years his senior, in high school at Lakeside School. The pair became friends, bonding over their universal enthusiasm for computers, even though they were very different people. Gates was feisty and at times combative. In 1975, they contacted and produced the first product was basic software that ran on the Altair computer. Gates and Allen hired by that company and established Microsoft, which was the blend of microcomputer and software. Gates was the CEO. He oversaw the business, hence he continued it. Later in 1980, IBM approached Microsoft and wanted the company to operate an operating system for its upcoming personal computer. Gates told that IBM could pay to get cheaper one with $50,000 if they took the one that already made. Seeing that advantage, he retained that technology and required all companies which wanted their operating system needed to pay license fee. Later, Steve Jobs, who was the co-founder of Apple, invited Bill Gates to write an operating system for them. Gradually, he realized that Apple's operating system had better graphics interface than MS-DOS, which system that Microsoft currently had. Seeing that weakness, he fixed it and brought it to another operating system, Windows. In 1981, Bill Gates became the youngest billionaire at age 31. He persuaded many manufacturers, to use Windows on each of their computers, and in 1993, 85% of the world computers were running Windows. After that, he continued to develop his operating system and introduced a new one called Windows 95 and expanded it. In the year 2000, Gates stepped down and promoted his friend, Steve Ballmer, as a chief software architect. In the year 2006, he announced that he would transition himself from full-time work to foundation. And in 2014, Gates once again stepped down as a technology advisor, and Steve Ballmer was replaced by Satya Nadella. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was created to support education, world health, and investment in low-income communities around the globe. Influenced by his wife, he became a civic leader like his mother and willing to donate their wealth to the unlucky ones. Bill Gates invested $50 million of his own money to the Dementia Discovery Fund. He also invested the same amount of money to the Alzheimer's Research Project. One more time, he invested $80 million in order to develop a smart city named Belmont. Its goal is to create a forward-thinking community with a communication and infrastructure spine that embraces cutting-edge technology, designed around high-speed digital networks, data centers, new manufacturing technologies and distribution models, autonomous vehicles, and autonomous logistics hubs. Let's talk about his struggles, failures, and rivals. In the past, Bill Gates wrote an operation called Macintosh, which was used on Apple's computers. When Steve Jobs called Bill Gates to write the operation, he showed Bill Gates their graphical user interfaces. Bill Gates was very excited in that design because it contained the subtle appearances of programs, such as Excel and Word. After that, Bill Gates determined to develop the user interfaces based on Macintosh, which led to the Cold War between Microsoft and Apple. After an extended period, Steve Jobs called Bill Gates for another collaboration, and Bill Gates agreed. Then, when Steve Jobs introduced their products in the event in Boston, he showed Bill Gates pictures up on the screen, and he said sometimes we could compete against each other, however, we still be friends. Recently, Bill Gates revealed that his biggest mistake was his management. In the year 2000, he should lead his company to develop operation for mobile phones, not only focus on develop programs and systems for computers. However, in the year 2008, Microsoft still released an operation called Windows Phone. It could be that counted as one of the most significant change steps that Microsoft has ever made because in that period, the market had marked two most significant operations, which were iOS and Android. After a period, this operation could not stay stable anymore because this operation was not attracting lots of programming developers, which led to losing customers. Bill Gates regarded that why didn't he start it earlier? Currently, Bill Gates received many awards for his philanthropic work. He is one of the most influential people of the 20th century. He also holds a few honorary doctorates from many universities around the world. In 2005, he claimed the award's Persons of the Year, an honor as Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire, bestowed by Queen Elizabeth II. In 2006, he and his wife were awarded Order of the Aztec Eagle by the Mexican government for their contributions to health and education. Lastly, in the year 2016, President Barack Obama named them the recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. As a technophile, I was attracted by his design, which was software and hardware. In my memory, Windows of Microsoft was the primary factor that led me to know this company. At first, Windows NT had not interested me too much because at the time, after a long period, until the development of Windows 10, I just got interested in this window and company. However, Windows 10 was based on Windows NT. Bill Gates has created a robust architecture to develop Windows 10 now. If compared with Mac OS written by him, it may not be equal in my opinion, but the structure of Windows brings much more customization to software and hardware developers. To prove it, we can see that almost all companies today develop their device hardware optimized for the Windows operating system. For example, Mac OS is a closed operating system. If programmers wanted to try this operating system, they have to spend a vast amount of money to invest in electronics from Apple. For Windows, this operating system can be installed on all devices, including Apple devices. This is an excellent opportunity for programmers because Windows currently has a large a potential customer base for application development opportunities. In the future, if I want to be an application developer, I will choose Windows because it has a sustainable architecture, has many customers, and quickly develops other platforms at a low cost. Bill Gates is genuinely one of the most people who have a significant impact on society and generations all around the globe. He has a great heart and a great mind. Gates plays a part in developing a more modern future with better technology by building Microsoft to become one of the most critical software in the world. He is also a brilliant person who contributes a lot in the 20th and the 21st centuries by investing his money in good reasons, such as research, healthcare, and education. He's also a lifelong learner who always tries his best to create more amazing things and improving them to the best versions of themselves that influence many people to become wealthy and successful like him. Although Bill Gates had given up his position in operating Microsoft, he has left great achievements for humanity. The first is about the Windows operating system. This is an open operating system, and it makes it easier and more efficient for developers to use and manipulate software. This operating system is very sustainable for developers because it allows people to move into the system quickly and take advantage of all the tools provided by Microsoft. Also, this operating system is easy to use for even beginners or professionals. Compared to Mac OS, Windows may be easier to use for everyone. Besides, because this is an open operating system, people have access to more software than Mac OS.